Welcome, my lovely grade 4s to WorksheetCloud.com's online lessons. So I decided today to make the big screen again. I thought that it would be nice to introduce myself myself to any new children out there that's watching this lesson. And I was thinking that it's actually quite cold out here in Cape Town, and I thought that I'd share that with you. It seems like I'm not getting cold, but I am. But don't be like me, grade fours. Please put on a jacket or a warm jersey if you are cold. So welcome. And like every other lesson, if you have any questions or concerns about this lesson or any of my other lessons, please send an email to grade4@worksheetcloud.com and we'll get back to you as soon as we can after this lesson. So today we're going to be doing antonyms and synonyms. For those of you that never heard those words before, please don't be alarmed. I'm sure once you understand what they are, they will become pretty easy for you to do. So don't get too concerned yet. But we're going to be learning about them today. And we're also going to be using them, some of them in practice. But I have some good news. You do not need a pencil or a pen and a page for this lesson. But if you want to write things down, you can. But for now, I'm just going to be teaching you how to identify antonyms and synonyms and how to use them. Okay, so let's move on. The lesson outline for today. We are going to be doing sentence a day. Yes. And I know we did let's figure it out for the last few times, but today we're going to be doing a sentence a day like we usually do. And then we're going to be looking at what are antonyms, what are synonyms, why do we need them, and common antonyms and synonyms. So I've decided grade 4s to add in a quote for the day just to give you some inspiration and for you to think about things and to remember to explore your creativity, and that is exactly what I'm trying to do in my lessons with you. So the quote for today is, ice cream can taste nice in winter too. So some of you are probably like, Miss, how is that even a quote? But think about it. Sometimes we think that certain things are only specialized for certain things. Like some people are only going to ever be good at certain things, or some children will only have talent in this area. However, sometimes children and adults, whoever, can actually do more than one thing, can be talented in different spheres, like dancing and singing, like writing and acting. Okay, so what I want this quote that I'm basically leaving you with today, or starting this lesson with today, I want you to realize that sometimes, even though ice cream is known for tasting nice in summer, that it's not always just for summer. We can actually explore different times or different types of people and explore our talents. Okay, just because I've only liked English my whole life doesn't mean that I can't try to enjoy social science. So that's my quote for today. And a sentence a day. All the ladies drove to the mall to eat lunch. We are going to be looking at subject and predicate, parts of speech, and then tenses. Okay, so that is what the sentence a day that we're looking at now. All the ladies drove to the mall to eat lunch. That's what we're looking at. I'm going to give you a few seconds, grade 4s, to try and see if you can look for the subject and predicate, the parts of speech, and the tenses. Okay, so you need to identify what tense the sentence is already written in, and then give me the other two tenses. Okay, good luck, grade 4s. Right, so by now you guys should know that a subject and predicate is basically the subject is who or what the sentence is about, and the predicate is the phrase, part of the sentence, the phrase that's from the verb to the end of the sentence. So, in the sentence, therefore, my subject would be all the ladies, okay, because that is who or what my sentence is about, right? And drove to the mall to eat lunch would be my predicate. And let's have it up on the screen now. Well done, grade 4. Now, I want us to look at the parts of speech, okay? So we're not going to be looking at all the parts of speech in the sentence because basically I wanted us to try and move away from parts of speech all the time and to try something new like subject and predicate and tenses. So I'm going to I just want you to focus on the verb. There are two verbs in the sentence. So this is drove, okay? And drove is my main verb because that is what's telling me what all the ladies went to do. However, they went to also go to eat lunch. And some of you would remember that to eat would be an example of an infinitive because it is using the auxiliary verb now to and adding it to the verb eat, okay? And to eat would now be regarded as an infinitive. And then my verb drove tells me which tense the sentence is written in. So, because the ladies already went, okay, that means that the sentence is written in past tense. Now we need to find the present tense and the future tense. So I want you to take a few seconds to see if you can remember that, grade 4s. Okay, so I'm going to get out of your way because I am definitely in your way over here. And let's see this. All the ladies drives to the mall to eat lunch. All the ladies will drive to the mall to eat lunch. Okay, so those are my two sentences now written in present tense and written in past tense. Sorry, future tense. Teachers also make mistakes, grade 4s. And I hope that if I do make a mistake, you remember that email address I said in the beginning of the lesson. Okay, so let's move on. What are antonyms? Antonyms are words that have opposite in meaning. So that means they are opposites. Now before, sometimes somebody would say, what is the opposite of that? Okay, grade 4s, and you would know it. But now they're not going to say what is the opposite of that. They are going to ask you what is an antonym for that word. And you should know that it means the opposite in meaning. So for example, big, small, black, white, up, down, clean, dirty. Okay, those are words that are opposites. So when I ask you to give me the antonym of the word big, you must know that the word I'm looking for is small. If I ask you for the antonym of the word black, you should know that it is white, or up and down, clean, dirty. So here I have a few examples of antonyms. So we have able, unable, above, below, absent, present, accept or decline, accept or refuse. Okay, so sometimes we have antonyms that actually can be synonyms when you are using opposites. So for example, if I can accept or decline, decline and refuse are now synonyms. So we are going to get to that in our next slide. Achieve, fail, admit, deny, admit, reject, against, for. So here we have quite a few examples of antonyms. And the antonyms I used in the previous slide was basically the common ones that you get, like big or small. However, antonyms are quite interesting in the fact that once you know them, you know exactly what words have opposite in meaning. And they like to ask these kind of questions in activities and assessments, grade 4s. So you better try and get used to studying the different antonyms, okay? And it helps build vocabulary. And that's what I'm going to be discussing later on in this lesson. Right, what are synonyms? Synonyms are words that have the same or similar meaning. So that means, remember I said in the previous slide, accept, reject, accept, decline. So decline and reject have a similar meaning, and therefore they will be synonyms. Here are our examples. So small can mean the same as tiny. So it might not be the exact same meaning, but it has a similar meaning, and therefore small and tiny are synonyms. Big and huge. Big means a huge thing, and now I'm just using one word instead of the other because they basically mean the same thing. And then here I have a nice big one for you, which is clear and transparent. So clear means you can see through it. Transparent also means you can see through it. So instead of using the word clear in my sentence, I can use the word transparent. And in the next slide now, I'm going to show you some more examples of synonyms. So, occur, happen. Old means something that happened long time ago. Instead of saying old, I can say ancient. Instead of saying opportunity, I can say chance. Page, sheet. You know that you use to write something down? You can say sheet instead of page. Beautiful and pretty. Peaceful and quiet. Quiet and silent. And here we have reject and deny, like I used in the previous slides when we were busy with antonyms. So synonyms are actually words that have the same meaning. And you can use different words instead of using the same ones over and over and over again. So in the next slide, we're going to look at vocabulary and how synonyms and antonyms help us build our vocabulary. And as usual, grade 4s, I am in your way. So let me get out. Okay, so vocabulary. Antonyms and synonyms help build our vocabulary, like I said previously. Let's look at the word nice. Not a nice word in my book. Now, everyone has opinions, grade 4s, right? But my opinion is that the word nice isn't a nice word. Why? Because we tend to use the word nice to describe too many things. How was that cup of tea? Nice. What nice friend is that? Oh my word, that lesson was so nice. Can I have a nice cup of coffee? Now, grade 4s, when we are looking at synonyms, that is the reason for them. So that we don't use the same words to describe things anymore, because it can become a little bit boring, okay? Nice this, nice that. So I have a little bit of a problem with the word nice. And yet I used the word nice in my quote. So remember, grade 4s, that when we build our vocabulary, we need to learn new words all the time. And in order for us to remember those words, we have to practice them. So instead of using the word nice, I can use the word enjoyable, pleasant, agreeable, delightful. Can you see the difference, grade 4s? So instead of saying, oh my word, that was such a nice cup of tea, I can say, oh, that was a delightful cup of tea. Or that boy was such a pleasant boy, instead of saying that was a nice. boy. So I hope you can see that by using the different words and building on our vocabulary, we actually can sound a little bit like we are learning more and more. Instead of using the word happy, I can use the word contented, cheerful, blissful, or merry. So now when your parents ask you, how are you feeling? You can say, Mom, I'm feeling contented. And that is the kind of thing that I'm trying to encourage. So instead of saying, I'm happy, or I'm sad, we can find new words that mean the same. And so we build on to our vocabulary. Phrases and synonyms. So I've added this in the lesson grade 4s because sometimes we get a question about using a phrase and giving only one word that phrase means. So I'm going to show you the example now. Phrases can also be used with regard to synonyms. So sometimes we get a question, like I said now, that they'll ask you the phrase and you need to give what the word means, okay? So it can even be a definition, so to speak. But now you get a paragraph and they use a phrase in the paragraph. You could have actually just used one word in that paragraph instead of the whole phrase. So here are a few examples. A place with little to no rainfall. Sometimes in the text they will say, that place was a place with little to no rainfall. I don't have to say that. I can say that it was a desert, okay, which is what it means. And then the woman married to my brother. Instead of using that entire phrase, I can just say my sister-in-law, right? Or I could say, the person that teaches my children. Instead of saying that, I could say a teacher or an educator because those words mean the exact same thing as the phrases. So this is what I wanted to add into this lesson for you to understand, because sometimes we can use a whole phrase in place of one word or vice versa. Grade 4s, again, I'm repeating myself. I want you to understand that the use of synonyms is so good in your everyday life because it helps you to build on your vocabulary. And the more words you learn, the better you'll get at reading, the better you'll get at understanding. And that is the aim. So, I think that is it for my lesson. Grade 4s, remember, you can send any feedback about my lesson to grade4@worksheetcloud.com. Any concerns, any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. And remember, an activity is provided for you after this lesson. So for now, grade 4s, I am going to put on my jacket again in this cold weather, and I really hope that you enjoyed this. From me, Mrs. Nicole Frank, have a wonderful day further. Goodbye.